Now, there are some calls for tax cuts ahead of the reading. What do you make of this?
Well, Kojo, we are told and we are all aware that taxation is the lifeblood for the existence of any nation. Once we decided to become a country and live under a democracy, our needs can only be met if we are able to put in place the right and appropriate tax policies that will help us mobilize the needed resources to address our socioeconomic and developmental aspirations. So taxation is a critical aspect of governance. And clearly, there are many calls. There's a lot of public discourse about this subject matter of taxation against the backdrop that over the 3 years, we have largely had challenges meeting our revenue targets, our annual revenue targets. These revenues come in through taxation. So clearly, we have a challenge, and the nation must rise up to that challenge. One of the areas that many, including myself and the Tax Justice Coalition and other civil society across the country that has been calling on is the need for us to diversify and broaden the tax base. This discussion has been with us over the decade. But clearly now, we need to begin to look at special areas that we believe will enable us to mobilize the needed revenue. And one of the key areas many have talked about is the fact that we needed to tax certain sectors of the economy, like the alcoholic beverages sector, like tobacco-related industries and other things that contribute significantly to our health bill. Yet in terms of taxation, we do not get commensurate returns from these sectors that are actually overburdening our public health sector budget. So there's a view that, look, if we must make progress, we must tax fairly, we must tax appropriately. Our taxes must be aligned to our overall national objectives and goals. So if we want to have a society that is healthy and productive, then we must begin to apply tax in areas that will bring in money, but also discouraging certain behaviors that we acquire that ends up to burden our national trade. So for me, we must have a broader conversation and ensure that the tax policy or the tax system we put in place, it is fair, it is just, and that everyone is paying their fair share of taxes. That's one key area that, in fact, many have left out. There's the view that those who earn much in this country are probably not paying their fair share of taxes. So you often would find the middle class and other sectors being overburdened with taxes. So there's clearly a view that, look, we must tax fairly. And to tax fairly means ensuring that we plug the loopholes and that everyone pays their fair share.
Let me ask you this. Clearly, these calls for nuisance taxes, it's not the first time we've heard them. The government has actually tried in the past with the luxury vehicle tax. It didn't work. Why are you so convinced that it will this time?
Because you are perfectly right. I think sometimes we must be able to tell the truth. It looks like in our country, often the politicking takes center stage of national politics. So the discourse and the import of the taxation get lost. We have overly politicized or patronized our tax policies. So it looks like taxation has become a key political football. And when we get into that kind of game, we lose out of the potential benefits. Yes, there's been that discourse of nuisance taxes. But clearly, you would discover that some of the taxes we hitherto describe as nuisance taxes today are giving us some of the highest tax yields. So it means that if we can depoliticize taxation and ensure that when we're talking about taxes, which I earlier on indicated is the lifeblood of our nationhood, then we must try to find common ground and ensure that we all think about the sectors, about the areas that can bring in more, so that we are able to meet our national aspirations. Until we do so, then we will all be at the mercy of the international community, where we go around begging or taking loans that are becoming an albatross on our neck. So for me, taxation must be depoliticized, number one. We mustn't sloganize it. We must take away the sloganeering around taxation and try to build consensus and common ground so that we are able to put in place a mechanism that responds to us.
So let me ask you this. I mean, do you think this government has the political will to introduce sin taxes in the next budget?
Well, actually, I have monitored and been quite critical about our current government since they took over office. And for the fact that we are probably approaching the next election, I would be so much surprised if they introduce new taxes, because they came into power against the backdrop that we must shift away from taxation to production. So if that is the mantra, the slogan that caught up with the Ghanaian people, then any attempt you even try to put in place an efficient tax framework, you will get an opposition. And I'm not too sure our government is ready to get any serious backlash. So to that extent, I will really be surprised, if not shocked, if I see new tax measures that would make us a bit uncomfortable. That I will really be surprised. But I'm also of the view that, look, if we must develop this country beyond aid, if we must develop this country beyond the obnoxious loans that we are contracting day in and day out, then we must, as a people, agree that we need to put in place a tax regime that brings in the needed revenue to address our many development challenges and constraints.
Very well. Salifu Kanton, member of the Tax Justice Coalition, I want to thank you for your time with us. We appreciate it very much.